Today is July 7th, and this quote is called, "Your fear indicates your wealth." Where you fear to go is the place your wealth lies. What we need most may be hiding under what we fear most to do, what we most fear to do. So this is like the quote about resistance, and our greatest wealth often lies in the things we fear the most. Often the things we really want to do, the biggest things, we fear doing them for various reasons. Probably one of the main reasons is we fear that we'll fail, and so we don't start, or we feel we're incapable, or we feel maybe we could succeed but we won't do it well, or we just sometimes can't even take the first step. We can't even get ourselves out of our comfort zone to do it. And I think one of the great sufferings in life, or the great anxieties, is to know there's something that we should be doing, but to be handicapped by fear, and then we don't do it, and then have to live with this reality of our lives of not doing what we should be doing, or not doing something as well as we could be doing it out of fear, whatever that fear is. So when you look at it that way, and when you look at your life, if you're living in the absence of doing something you should do, that you know you should do, that you want to do, but somehow or other there's a fear that's preventing you, and you really look at that, you understand that anxiety, that stress, or guilt, whatever it may be, that you're feeling is probably more intensely negative than the fear itself, or the difficulty that you have to endure is greater than facing your fear. And I think we all have experienced that when we face our fear, we realize that most fears are kind of illusory. They're not really what we imagine them to be. They're not as bad as we think. Just like Maya, she comes along and says, "I'm really good. Come, try me out." And we always realize she's not as good as she advertised herself to be. So fear is like that also. Fear is not as great as it's advertised to be. And so that's why it's often said the best way to deal with your fears is just face them, because when you walk through them, you realize, hey, that was really not as difficult as I thought. We did a workshop once. It wasn't my workshop. It was a facilitation training. And there were like 250 people, and they had to go on stage and do something kind of crazy to they had to pick something that they kind of be afraid to do, and then just do it. And so people got out of their fears, and it was very empowering. And it was also very easy. People realized that it wasn't as difficult as they thought. So, if there is something you fear, and it's something that you really need to be facing, if you don't face it, if you let the fear control you, subtly you're going to suffer on a certain level. And externally, you're not going to achieve what you could be achieving. So it's kind of a very deep form of suffering to allow fear to handicap you, to withhold you from doing something that you could do very well if you just faced it. So think of something that you need to face and face it. Test it out. Test out this theory. See what happens.